see both. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu. So we are sharing this merit. All beings who are there, who are suffering, can come out of suffering, and that includes Bhante. He may be in a very difficult situation, but he seems to be still kind of taking care of his Dhamma. He is still clear in his communication. He came out of coma and he spoke to somebody, and that was considered to be not possible. But I think all of us who are sending him metta and sending him good wishes is helping him. So he may be with us for a little longer, and we have to kind of continue giving him metta. So today I am going to take a sutta which is kind of encouraging for us. It is a sutta which is kind of, the Buddha is giving a encouragement that if you know these are the things you are doing, then you can consider yourself to be a Sotāpanna yourself. You don't need anybody else. And Bhante also used to say this: you don't need anybody else to kind of confirm your spiritual attainments. Your spiritual attainments is your understanding. So as you understand, you will grow. So in that sense, whatever is our understanding is known to us, and you don't have to go anywhere for the confirmation. So in one of the suttas, the Buddha is kind of pointing out, once I'm trying to go to the sutta over here. It is in Samyutta Nikaya 55.1, wheel turning monarch. So the Buddha is saying that even if a wheel turning monarch, when he passes away, for sure he goes to the heaven. So that means that he has he is the king of the whole of the planet, and when he passes away, he goes to the heaven. And when he is in heaven, even in Tushita heaven, he can be reborn, and he has all the senses. He can have pleasure, like he can have beautiful things to see, beautiful things to hear, beautiful things to smell, and nice things to taste, and nice things. Then also the next destination is not sure for him. Then he can still be reborn in hell. He can still be reborn as an animal. He can still be reborn as a hungry ghost. So if you are a Sotāpanna, then you can say that you are kind of free from all those states. So four things are required for the Sotāpanna. But in these things, in this sutta which I'll be taking today, it is Samyutta Nikaya 12.41. In Samyutta Nikaya, I think chapter 12, Sutta 41. In that sutta, the Buddha is giving us a more clear understanding about precepts, and also what is required to kind of be free from your cycle of birth and deaths. So at Savatthi, then the householder Anathapindika approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him, and sat down to one side. The Blessed One then said to him, "Householder, when 5 fearful animosities have subsided in a noble disciple, and he possesses the 4 factors of stream entry, and he has clearly seen and thoroughly penetrated with wisdom the noble method, if he wishes, he could by himself declare of himself, I am one finished with hell, finished with the animal realm, finished with the domain of ghosts, finished with the plane of misery, the bad destination, the nether world. I am a stream enterer, no longer bound to the nether world. Fixed in destiny. Fixed in destiny means that he has only 7 lifetimes as a maximum. His destiny is fixed because he maximum after 7 lifetimes he is going to become a arahant, and he has to he will leave the cycle of birth and death with awakening as my destination. So that is the destination. Awakening is the destination. So that is the destination which he has. What are the 5 fearful animosities that has subsided? That have subsided. Householder, one who destroys life, creates an on account of such behavior, fearful animosity pertaining to the present life, and fearful animosity pertaining to the future life. So what is the animosity? I mean, animosity is the fear and kind of aversion which is there again because of, that is good. That is the sutta. And you have to select the Bhikkhu Bodhi version. So, okay. So, what is happens if you take life? You are fearful because you have taken life. But you are giving fear to the other person also, whom you are kind of attacking to take the life. So, other being also is in fear. So, this fear and animosity is there when you are doing or breaking a precepts. He experiences mental pain and displeasure. So when act of breaking the precepts is done, he experiences mental pain and displeasure. Thus, for one who abstains from destroying life, this fearful animosity has subsided. So when one decides not to kill anymore, then that animosity or that fear and displeasure and pain has subsided. So this is true for the other precepts also. One who takes what is not given, one who engages in sexual misconduct, one who speaks falsely. That is wrong speech. Wrong speech has 4 components. One component is speaking falsely. Second component is to have a division between 2 groups. Speak in a way divisive way, that you go to one group and say one thing, go to the other group and say another thing. Then third is harsh speech. Harsh speech is speaking bad words, speaking in a way that hurts others. Then the fourth one is idle chatter, means you are speaking which are not relevant things, or just speaking to speak but have no intention for making any sense, or like gossip or something like that. Okay, so that has all those components in it. That is a right speech. Who indulges in wine, liquor, and intoxicant that are basis of negligence. So negligence is when you are taking alcohol, you may break other precepts also, and you don't have the mindfulness to be on the path. That is the reason the taking of wine or intoxicants are prohibited. Only in a medical sense when you are taking it. Say when you have a cough and you say take a cough syrup, that is has some alcohol to kind of relax the muscles of the neck. So when or the throat. So when the muscles are relaxed, the reflex action which is there, which kind of makes you cough, is not happening, and that kind of helps you. So in not all cases, but if you are taking alcohol or intoxicants for your own kind of enjoyment or intoxication, then that can be dangerous. Thus, for one who abstains from wine, liquor, and intoxicant that are basis of negligence, this fearful animosity has subsided. So when one does not kind of do this, then that kind of animosity which is there, that kind of fear, pain, and displeasure is there, is not possible for those. But this is the Buddha is kind of pointing out the need for keeping the precepts. Now he is going into deeper into the factors of which makes you a Sotāpanna. These are the 5 fearful and animosities that have subsided. And what are the 4 factors of stream entry that he possesses? Here, householder, the noble disciple, possesses confirmed confidence in the Buddha thus. The Blessed One is an arahant, perfectly enlightened, accomplished in true knowledge and conduct, fortunate, knower of the world, unsurpassed leader of persons to be tamed, teacher of devas and humans, the enlightened one, the Blessed One. So the one has confidence in the Buddha, but Buddha not as a person, but Buddha as a state of being, you know. It is not a person we have faith in, it is the state of the Buddhahood that we have a kind of confidence in. We have the confidence that the Blessed One is an arahant. Arahant means that he has given up all kinds of craving and he has ended his cycle of birth and rebirth. He is perfectly enlightened. So there is nothing which is there which is pending. So there is a perfection in the awakening factor which he is possessing. So that perfection is there, accomplished in true knowledge and conduct. So he has the true knowledge, the actual knowledge which is required to become awakened, and conduct is how to conduct himself or how to do his day-to-day activities. So he has perfect knowledge of that. He is fortunate, knower of the world. So he has all the knowledge of the world, unsurpassed leader of persons to be tamed. That means that for people who are ready to practice, he is the best teacher. So the people who don't want to practice, he cannot do anything about that. But a person who is ready to practice, then he is the best teacher of that people. Teacher of devas and humans. So he is teachers of humans, but as well as devas. So devas also used to come and learn from the Buddha. The enlightened one, the Blessed One. He possesses confirmed confidence in the Dhamma thus. The Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. So the teachings of the Buddha is called Dhamma. Dhamma is also called the truth. And Dhamma is also called the nature of things. So the Dhamma of water is fluidity. So we can say the nature of the water is fluidity. So Dhamma is a very kind of comprehensive word, but over here it is meant as a teaching, the teaching of the Buddha. So the teaching of the Buddha, the Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. So he has explained it in a very in a way that it can be understood. So it is well explained. So it is not a explanation which is difficult to understand. So it is well explained, so we can consume. So it is like cooking. If the food is well cooked, then we can consume that food. But if the food is say half cooked, it is half raw, then we cannot consume it. Or if it is overcooked, then it may be not kind of useful for us to consume it. So it is well expounded, so that that you can consider that it has been made in a way that we can access it and make use of it. Directly visible. Why is it directly visible? Because as soon as we start using it, we will be able to see its effects. So one way of saying is it is directly visible and immediate is when we are doing 6 hours. As soon as we are told about 6 hours, we are knowing that our mind has attention which can go to the unwholesome as well as it can come back to the wholesome. So as soon as we recognize our mind is there unwholesome, it has been effective. So it does not take much time to understand that the mind's attention moves and it can go to something which we personally don't want it to go. So immediately we are able to see that. So that is the immediate part of the Buddha's teaching. So it is directly visible because you can see that for yourself and it is immediate. Immediately you can see. Before I was told about 6 hours, Before I was told about the right effort or harmonious practice, I did not know that my mind's attention moved. I had no idea, that I had no concept. I did not have that paradigm of the mind's attention moving or mind attention being somewhere. Now it is a big thing about attention and how to put your attention, how to manage your attention. And there are many books on that. If you want, you can go to Kindle and just search for attention as the keyword. And there are many books on that, but I had no idea. So as soon as I came to know that the mind's attention has to be there on an object of meditation, then I knew, oh, my mind moves. So that is the reason it is directly visible and immediate. Inviting one to come and see. Why is it inviting one to come and see? Because one can see for oneself. It is directly visible. Because it is directly visible, we say you experience it. Because I can experience it, but I cannot give it to you. So the Buddha could experience the awakening, but he could not give the awakening to his first five disciples. Out of that, only one Kondanya became a Sotāpanna in the first time the Buddha gave the teaching. 1 second. There is on Sunday there are certain things happen, so they had come to get something. So as I was kind of saying that when the Buddha was teaching, he could only give the instructions, but to understand and to kind of formulate, the person has to do it himself. That is the reason it is inviting one to come and see, applicable to be personally experienced by the wise. So one can personally experience, and the person has to have a certain amount of wisdom. Without the wisdom, one would not be able to kind of try this. So the Dhamma is very well explained. It is accessible and one can see for oneself. So it is a confidence that in the Dhamma, and one will have confidence in the Dhamma as soon as one starts training in the Dhamma. When start doing 6 hours, one would have immediate kind of confidence. He possesses confirmed confidence in the Sanghadas. The Sangha of the Blessed One, one's disciples, is practicing the good way, practicing the straight way, practicing the true way, practicing the proper way. That is the 4 pairs of persons, the 8 types of individuals. So out of the 4 pairs of persons, the 4 pairs of persons is Sotāpanna, who has path, Sotāpanna who has fruition. So Sakdagami who has path, Sakdagami who has fruition. Anagami who has path and Anagami who has fruition. Arahant who has path and Arahant who has fruition. So that has 4 pairs. So that is the 4 pairs of individuals are there with the Buddha, the 8 types of individuals. This Sangha of the Blessed One's disciples is worthy of gifts, worthy of hospitality, worthy of offerings, worthy of reverential salutation, the unsurpassed field of merit. One way of understanding Sangha is from the Buddha's time, all his disciples till now, all are considered a part of the Bhikkhu Sangha. So that Sangha has the greatest field of merit. So when an offering is given to the Sangha, it is considered to be greater merit than giving to a living Buddha. The Buddha himself refused to take the gift which his stepmom had given to him. He said that give it to the Sangha because it will have more merit for you. So that is the reason the Sangha is considered to be the field of merit. One other point of the Sangha is Sangha keeps the knowledge alive. So the only reason the Buddha's teaching is alive today is some Sangha members have preserved the teaching and decided to kind of continue teaching and pass on the teaching to the next generation. Like my teacher Bhante, who has taught us, and then we teach others. And we kind of hope that out of those people who teach, there will be somebody who will take up the baton and teach further. So in the same way, the teaching keeps on going. Then there are monks who are dedicated to study. Those monks will kind of study the scriptures, rewrite the scriptures, keep the scriptures in order, and continue this practice of preserving the teachings. So we will have the teachings in writings as well as in practice, where the monks practice meditation and do the meditation and teach the meditation. In that way, they will continue keep the practice alive. He possesses the virtue dear to the noble one. So he is again now saying about the precepts. So this is the three. He has confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. The fourth factor for being in Sotāpanna is he possesses virtue dear to the noble ones, unbroken, untorn, unblemished, unmolten, freeing, praised by the wise, ungrasped, leading to collectedness. So once a person has good precepts, then it also leads to ekagata, or the collected mind. So that is what Bhante also said, that precepts are an integral part of the practice. Dana, sila, bhavana. So you have to be generous, you have to keep your precepts, and you have to practice. So precepts are comes before the practice. So you have to keep your precepts well, so it will help you in your practice. So what the Buddha is saying, that these are the four factors of stream entry that he possesses. So in one other sutta, the Buddha is kind of confirming this requirement is in Samyutta Nikaya 55.2. That is grounded. That is Brahmacharya Yoga Gandha Sutta. In that also he said that these are the four things which is required for the stream entry. So a noble disciple, students who possesses these four things in a stream enterer, no longer bound for the nether world, fixed in destiny, with enlightenment as his destination. So the Buddha is also confirming in another sutta also that these are the four things which are required. So they are not much, if you consider kind of closely, that you have to have confidence in the teaching. Confidence in the Buddha. You have to have confidence in the teaching. You have to have confidence in the Sangha. So when you have confidence in these three things, or you contemplate these things, you contemplate the qualities of the Buddha, you contemplate the qualities of the Dhamma, and you contemplate the qualities of the Sangha, and you keep your precepts, then you yourself can say that you are an Sotāpanna. But over here, he gives an additional criteria, that is understanding the Dhamma. So there is one other thing which he says. And what is the noble method that he has clearly seen and thoroughly penetrated with wisdom? So there is one additional factor the Buddha is asking to us to check. Here, householder, the noble disciple, attends closely and carefully to dependent origination itself. Thus, when this exists, that comes to be. So when Buddha is talking about dependent origination, he is making it very simple over here. The start of this dependent origination is, if this exists, that comes to be. When this is there, that comes to be. So it starts in our own practice, in our own understanding, that when your mindfulness is not there, then your distraction is there. So then you know that when this is there, that comes to be. That means that you are understanding the dependently original nature of this phenomena. So that is the start of your practice, or start of your understanding. When with the arising of this, that arises. So when this thing arises, this thought arises, then that anxiety arises. So you know the relationship between these two things. So that becomes your understanding of, when this exists, that comes to be. When with the arising of this, that arises. When this does not exist, that does not come to be. So when this is not there, then that is also not there. This is for that. When this goes away, that also goes away. That is the simple thing. So if this arises, if this does not arise, this does not arise. Means this goes away, then this also goes away. It's just a relationship between two things. With the cessation of this, that ceases. That is, with ignorance as condition, volitional formations come to be. With the volitional formations as condition, consciousness. With consciousness as condition, Namarupa, name and body. With Namarupa as condition, 6 sense bases. With 6 sense bases as condition, contact. With contact as condition, feeling. With feeling as condition, craving. With craving as condition, clinging. With clinging as condition, it is the habitual tendencies or bhava. With habitual tendencies as condition, birth. With birth as condition, sorrow, lamentation, the death will be there. With sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. So whenever something is born, that also has a death. So that happens. Such is the origin of this whole mass of suffering. With the remainderless fading away and cessation of ignorance comes the cessation of volitional formations. With the cessation of volitional formations, cessation of consciousness. With cessation of consciousness, cessation of name and form. With the cessation of name and form, 6 sense bases. With the cessation of 6 sense bases, cessation of contact. With the cessation of contact, cessation of feeling. With the cessation of feeling, cessation of craving. With the cessation of craving, cessation of clinging. With the cessation of clinging, cessation of habitual tendencies. With the cessation of habitual tendencies, cessation of birth. With the cessation of birth, cessation of death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. Such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. So the dependent origination is not very complicated. What the Buddha is saying, that you can see this dependent origination nature in your practice. Certain times you say, oh, I was seeing something before I sat for meditation. I was seeing a video. And that video had my thoughts were there, of fearful thoughts were there, because I was seeing a horror movie before I sat in meditation. So once somebody came to Bhante and said that I get nightmares. And Bhante was asking her what kind of movies she watches. And she said, oh, I watch ghost movies. So Bhante said, that's logical that you get nightmares, because you are watching ghost movies and you are getting nightmares. So stop watching ghost movies. The lady said, no, I like watching ghost movies. So and Bhante said that then don't complain about nightmares. So because the understanding of cause and effect is not there. That is the reason when a person watches ghost movies and has nightmares, they cannot link that this being there, that comes to be. When this is not there, then that will not be there. So when the understanding of the causality is understood, then we are able to give up the things which are needed to make change. This is the noble method that he has clearly seen and thoroughly penetrated with wisdom. When householder, these 5 fearful animosities have subsided in a noble disciple, and he possesses these 4 factors of stream entry, and he has clearly seen and thoroughly penetrated with wisdom this noble method. If he wishes, he could by himself declare of himself, I am one finished with hell, finished with the animal realm, finished with the domain of ghosts, finished with the plane of misery, the bad destination, the nether world. I am a stream enterer, no longer bound to the nether world, fixed in destiny, with awakening as my destination. So, as we can see, the Buddha is giving us the complete power to kind of say about our own mind states, to be able to recognize and declare for ourselves how our mind states are there. So nobody is there to declare for you that what is your mind state. You have to understand your mind state yourself. So whenever there is a change in your mindset, you don't have to discuss it with others also. You can know that, okay, this change has happened. And because this change has happened, you can be assured that the things which are there requirements, or what are the fruits of stream entry are there that are there with me? What are the fruits of stream entry? There is one is that that what practice you are doing will lead you to ultimate awakening. There is no doubts in the practice. Second is that what happens outside, that is Silabata Paramasa or rites and rituals, does not affect your mental state of mind. So you cannot get rid of your cravings by doing something outside. You cannot kind of go in a river, dip, or have a Agni or a fire ritual, or go and give some dana over there and make a change in your mind state. That you are very clear with. Then the third is you have insight into the impersonal nature of your being. That is when you recognize in your meditation that when you are there with your object of meditation, your mind goes over here. How does that happen? You did not bring it there. There is one thought is there which pops up. You did not ask this. Not being there, it comes into being. Being there, it goes away. So you know that this is a impersonal nature of those things. It does not mean that you are totally free of the personality view. Even a anagami has a certain amount of personality view, that I am an anagami. He has still that I which is there, that Dhimana is there. So you have insight into the impersonal views, because certain scholars say, oh, you should have totally have eliminated your personal view, personality, and you have to have an impersonal perspective for everything, which is not possible. There is a lot of practice still pending. That is the reason even a Sotāpanna can come to 7 lifetimes. The Buddha says that a Sotāpanna, even if he is very heedless, means he stops practicing and starts enjoying the kind of good feeling which he's getting, and starts kind of getting involved with worldly life. Like it is said that Vaishakha was a Sotāpanna at the age of 7. But when she was at a marriageable age, she was kind of got in love with a merchant son, and then they got married. And she did not progress in that lifetime. She had 16 children. She was a wealthy merchant. So she did a lot for the Buddha. She was always there to help the Buddha. The Migara's Mata's Mahal or the Migara's Mata's palace was made by her. And she is also one of the few persons which is mentioned in the suttas as well as Vinaya. So there are a couple of Vinaya rules which has been initiated because of her. So she has such an influence in the Dhamma and the Vinaya. But because her focus at that point of time was her husband and children, she did not progress. But eventually she will definitely progress, because she has accumulated a lot of merit, and also her bent of mind has changed. Her inclinations have changed. So slowly, slowly it will change. They say that if there is a ship going, even if you change 1 degree of that ship, then in 180 days, it will be going in the opposite direction. So it will sometimes take time. So one can declare for oneself Sotāpanna when they are clear about whatever has been told in this sutta, as well as the factors or the fruits of the stream entry. So there are 3 fetters which are broken, which we have discussed. That is the fetter of doubt, that this practice will lead you to awakening. The fetter of Silabata Paramasa, that has been broken. The fetter of the identity view, that has been broken. So then a person can progress. So is there any questions or anything regarding this sutta? Do you like to add something? One second, I'll just have to take this. I have to message, because somebody is going to meet Sister Kema. So, and I'm also supposed to kind of speak to her. So Hugh, are you there? Hello, yes. I think he is on a low network area. Is there any other person who has a question? Because this concept of Sotāpanna is kind of misunderstood by many, because I was also given a lot of concepts about Sotāpanna, and it was such a high pedestal it was put, that somebody used to say that one monk, I think known to Sis Khema, said that it would take 1,000 lifetimes to become just a Sotāpanna. So, but the description given over here does not seem that it would take 1,000 lifetimes. So, does anybody have any questions about this?
Bhante, a thought had occurred to me.
Yes.
That it says in the sutta that you can declare yourself.
Correct.
And obviously one would have to do it by examining oneself.
Correct.
And that is where there are always questions and doubts, right? That has this been completely done? For example, if you talk about speech,
Correct.
so suppose there is still a tendency sometimes to chat with people without much purpose.
Correct.
Right. So then that is something which is obviously perhaps lacking in perfecting that precept. So how
Yes.
does one then authentically decide that one is fit to declare something like that?
So one way of understanding is that nowhere the attainment of Sotāpanna means that he is unable to break a precept, but his mind will be always kind of stop him from doing that. Okay, but even if he kind of breaks the precept, he will feel guilty, and he will take the precepts once again. There is one famous incident in the suttas where a monk had a habitual tendency of having intoxicants. And he used to break that precept, and again then he used to confess, because in monks rules also breaking a precept of intoxication is confession. You have to confess that you have done it, and then promise not to do it, and that is the solution for that, and become whole. So he was habitually breaking that precept, but when he passed away, the monks went to Buddha and said, what is his destination? What was his kind of attainment? The Buddha said that that monk was a Sotāpanna and has gone to a good destination. So the monk said, how come he was breaking those precepts of drinking? So Buddha said that before he passed away, he had again taken those precepts. So he had broken that precept, but he had recognized, he had confessed, and taken the precepts once again. Thus, he was complete. He was of a clean mind at that point of time, and thus he had not broken that attainment. So you have to look at it in that way, that even when a Sotāpanna is that, most of those habitual patterns of the precepts are very much strong, but when you are doing it, somebody kind of explained to me that whenever they come near breaking the precept, there is a resistance in the mind, and there can be a possibility that they can break the precepts. And speech is the easiest precept to break, because it is so habitual patterns are there in our kind of life, that it is easier to break. But whenever you recognize, you can take that precept once again. And perfecting of the precepts is you are always aware of it, and when you are breaking it, you have that awareness that this has been broken, and you take the precepts once again.
Thank you, Bhante. That was very clear. Thank you.
Yes, Andy. Yes, you can ask the question, Andy.
Hi, Bhante. Hi,
Hello.
everybody. I have a question about the difference between the path and the fruit, and I guess the question is, about the Sotāpanna, but also the subsequent paths as well. What is the difference between the path and the fruit, and how to determine whether the path has been attained or the fruit has been attained?
So one point Bhante used to kind of explain in a way is that he was from a construction industry. So he had this idea that when you put a cement, okay, the cement is wet, okay. So there is a cement has been poured, now concrete has been poured. Now when the concrete has been poured, that is still wet initially. It takes some time to set. When that concrete has not set, it can still be tampered with. It can still, things can go wrong, and it can be still shaped and say if there is a beam put inside, that a beam can be taken out from that concrete. But say when the concrete is set, it becomes like a stone. Then you cannot take the beam out if there was a beam put in. So it cannot be changed. The shape cannot be changed. So that is the difference between a fruit and fruition. And one kind of point of view is that to break that from having the fruit, having the kind of path to fruit and going back from having the attainment of the path, you have to break the heinous crime. One of those 5 heinous crime when you do, only then you will be able to kind of come down. The 5 heinous crimes are one is killing your mother or father, killing a arahant, injuring a Buddha, or causing a schism in the Sangha. So those 5 heinous crimes, if you do, only then you can come down from the attainment of that. Or you have breaking of precepts habitually. So habitually you keep breaking precepts because you think, oh, I am a Sotāpanna and I can do what I want to do. And whatever I do is the truth, and that is the reason he starts breaking the precepts. He does not care about precepts. He becomes kind of a law unto himself. There are people in Bhante's experience also who were like this, who thought that they had now attained something which was makes them the law, you know, and they did not pay attention and they were breaking the precepts a lot. So that can happen. So that can also lead to your going back. In other states, like when you are a, say, Sagdagami, then that is very difficult for you to kind of break it. But your development can happen. One other view is that if it has not developed till the time of your death, it will develop at the time of the death. So if you are a Sagdagami with path, then the fruition will come definitely at the time of death. So those are the views which are there regarding the coming back from the path and about attaining the fruition.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Bhante. That's a very, very good explanation. I was just wondering, is it possible to look at the, between the path and the fruit? Is it appropriate to think about it as a kind of integration, or kind of the wisdom happening, the insight happening, or what is happening between the path and the fruit? So, what is happening for the hardening of the cement?
It is your understanding which is there. See, understanding is the key for attaining any state of mind. In one of the suttas, the Buddha kind of mentions that. If I can find that sutta, 1 second. I don't know what happened to my Kindle. It's kind of stuck. But there is one sutta in Samyutta Nikaya. The Buddha is talking about the 7 factors of awakening, where the Buddha starts that by understanding. I'm paraphrasing that by understanding that one kind of develops. So one's understanding is developed more. So one understands in a certain manner. Say one person is started to learn swimming. So when he starts learning swimming, he will have a different kind of a way of swimming. But when he keeps on swimming, then he kind of becomes kind of an intermediate swimmer. So he can swim without any assistance, and he can go for say 10 minutes, 15 minutes without any problems or something like that. But then he keeps on swimming and keeps on kind of perfecting his technique. Then he can become a professional swimmer. So what he has done is not different. What he has done is more and more and more of that same thing, which kind of deepens his understanding. So in the same way, a Sotāpanna with a path and a fruition, the difference is his deeper understanding. So he does not have to do anything new, but he has to do the same thing again and again in a way that it becomes more clear to the mind. And then mind gives up totally what it is holding. And then that becomes a kind of your permanent position of the mind.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Are you able to talk? I saw he was outside. Maybe he had gone. I think he's in a bad connection area. So anyway, is there any other questions? Anybody wants to comment or contribute? Okay, then we can share the merit once again, and whatever merit from this Dhamma talk which we have accumulated goes to all beings, including Bhante and Sister Khema, and may all kind of beings benefit from the merit which we have earned. So we'll share the merit. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thanks everybody for coming. And next Wednesday, I think Hugh is going to come for the talk, 7:30 in Wednesday. So we all can come and join Hugh also, and we'll try and see whatever is the situation of Bhante. We'll share with you all about that situation. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.